You guys read the Zen chapter, right? Yeah. Tell me about McKinley during this whole episode, because he's my favorite president when it comes to making decisions. Who helped him, by the way, decide we were going to stay in the Philippines? God did.
Oh, yeah.
God told him.
He prayed and was on visual for several nights.
And finally, God told him that we needed to civilize the Filipinos, and he slept well that night. That's right. I'm sure that Emilio Aguinaldo in the Philippines was also praying, please let him come and colonize us and start an insurrection that will kill 100,000 of our people.
Yes, I'm sure that he was.
It's funny how God always takes America's side.
Because America's the best, Mr. Fair.
It's actually funny, in American politics, if you don't admit to American exceptionalism, then you get drilled. Like even President Obama, at the first part, like academics in general get really mad when people start talking about American exceptionalism, because it is part of our culture that America is inherently better than other places because of God. And if you don't admit to this, then you get questioned. And Obama kept, this was really easy for Mitt Romney, because part of the Mormon faith is American exceptionalism. It's an American thing. And so he sort of buys into it really easily. And Obama always kind of, yes, we're exceptional in this regard, or exceptional in that regard, because he won't go all in on, yes, God has said we're better than everybody else. For whatever reason in America, if you don't say that, then you are unelectable. But Cubans Cubans themselves want freedom. Remember, who's Cuba underneath the boot of? Right, they're underneath the boot of Spain, and they want their own freedom. In fact, after Hearst had sent down Remington, and you furnish the pictures, I'll furnish the war, the Cubans begin to revolt against the Spanish. And what we did was we sent in a ship. What ship did we send in? We sent in the USS Maine as a way to protect American interests. We sent this into Havana Harbor to protect Americans who were there. It was not because the Spanish were revolting, it was the Cubans revolting. At the same time, Spanish were worried that Americans would intervene, and their foreign secretary, a guy named Delome, was the Delome letter on there? No. Delome, D-E, and then the next word is Lome, L-O-M-E. The Delome letter, which went out in February 9th, these two things are going to happen at the same time. The Delome letter was a cable sent to and from Spanish officials blasting McKinley for being incompetent and weak. And William Randolph Hearst's company intercepted it and put it in the newspapers. This is what Spain is saying about America. And then a week later, the USS Maine exploded in Havana Harbor, killing like 266 Americans or something like that. And who do we blame for this explosion?
Spanish.
The dirty, filthy Spanish. You got the Delome letter, and now you've got the sinking of the USS Maine. Both of them in February of 1898. And now you pour yellow journalism on top of that, and what is America clamoring for?
War.
We're going to help the Cubans, our Cuban brothers, throw off the yoke of the Spanish. Similarly, so who are we? If the Cubans are the Americans in the revolution, who are we?
The French.
We're the French, right? We are going to help overthrow this yoke of oppression.
So, since Spain,
Well, the French won also, though.
Since Spain was like actually protecting land that was technically theirs, that didn't violate the Monroe Doctrine?
No, because it was already there. That's exactly right. It didn't violate the Monroe Doctrine for them to do whatever they wanted to in Cuba, because it had already been Spanish since the 15th century.
Okay.
So now there's clamoring for war, and McKinley gives in.
Why did Cuba want to revolt?
Cuba wanted to revolt. Cuba wanted their own independence, similar to America wanting independence. Cuba wanted their own independence.
But how did Spain revoke it?
Well, the Cubans had been for generations trying to find independence. And in the late 1890s, they started becoming more aggressive with it. And as they were attacking inner Cuba, attacking the Spanish in Cuba, that's when the reconcentration camps happened, right? To suppress the Cuban Revolution. But it only sort of manifested itself more. The leader of the Cuban Revolution, a guy named Jose Marti, is eventually killed and seen as a martyr, right? And now the Americans are going to come in after the Maine. Now, the funny part about the USS Maine, did the Spanish sink it?
No.
No. It was actually a fire that started in the Maine, and it was really, really close to where we kept all the ammunition in the Maine. And when fire happens inside the place that holds all the weapons, it exploded. We finally admitted this in the 1970s, I think. There was an internal investigation. They got like physicists out there, and they got experts, and they showed this had happened. Because the Spanish were like, "We didn't do anything." We were like, "Yes, you did. You sent mines. You put mines underneath the Maine and exploded." And the Spanish were like, "We did not do this," or whatever the Spanish term for "we did not do this" was. No say. But we're going to go to war. Now, can you imagine actually going to war, committing your entire national treasure and troops going to war on information that was a lie? That would be crazy. For America to go to war on information that was told to us that was not accurate. Luckily, this is the first and only time this has happened.
Right.
Alright, so now, so let me get the map out for those 4 of you who will view this around the world the rest of my life. Sorry, Leah.
No, it hasn't been over there. I've been looking down.
Alright. I'm going to show you a picture of the world.
The great world indeed.
Yes, we're not.
Yay.
Yeah, it was Kane. Americans are.
Alright.
I can't go. This is actually a time when I would need my. Ah!
Lincoln looks guilty.
Duncan, did you steal it?
I don't like that one too much. You want to steal it?
This one.
Oh, is that your choice? You just sat on it or something?
No, I got mad one day, somebody got an answer wrong, and I hit it up against the wall real hard, and it shot that way. It's pretty
Check
awesome.
my little white thingy.
Do what?
Check my little white thing. Maybe later over there. Nope.
Alright, I'm pretty sure Duncan is somewhere with it. Here is America, here's Cuba, right?
Yeah.
When we go to war with the Spanish, in the Spanish-American War, set in Cuba, clearly, who are we going to attack first?
Spain.
Spain in
Cuba.
the Philippines. Alright. So, our first destination shall be the Philippines.
They go around the world to fight. Back here.
Who owned the Philippines?
Spanish.
Spanish did. Now, we also thought, now a bunch of other countries wanted access to the Philippines, specifically Germany, because they wanted access to Chinese markets. And we thought if we did not attack the Philippines, we would allow the Germans to do it. And we had an admiral. Admiral Dewey was already in Hong Kong and was ordered. This is one of my favorite Roosevelt stories. Roosevelt at this time, at the beginning of the Spanish-American War, was the Assistant Secretary of the Navy. And without asking McKinley's permission, gave orders to Admiral Dewey to attack the Philippines. That's pure Roosevelt, right? I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm going to go ahead and send this order to invade a country without presidential edict. Now, before we even go into, I don't know what this is, it's on the second page. Before we even go into the war, we issued a law, called the Teller Amendment, telling Cuba, when we win this war, you're going to get your total and 100% freedom. We're going to help you win this war, and we're going to give you your independence. Now, there were some people who wanted to go to war, and there were some people who didn't want to go to war. Ironically, by the way, at first, businesses did not want to go to war. Business leaders thought that this was a disruption to business. What do you think they found after the war?
It's very good for
Yeah, okay, war's alright with us now. But before the war, business leaders were curious as to the effects of this and were worried there would be a disruption because we actually did trade with the Spanish in Cuba and we were worried about business prospects. The public, though, really wanted war. And the Republican Party saw this as a way to strengthen themselves. Because if you're victorious in war, that's really good for your political party. The Democrats winning World War II were empowered during World War II, and that gave them some political leverage to say we are, strong on defense, right? The way that Vietnam ended hurt Democrats because they were seen as
inferior.
Well, the Democrats started the war. I mean, it was Johnson was the one who escalated it, and Nixon ended it, and Nixon did a lot of stuff with it. But the Democrats were seen as the ones who were lying about why we went to war. And to be fair, they were.
I'm just sitting around.
She's just got to be so high about what
Every time there's a negative Democratic thing, you just score one.
I mean, my mom's Democratic. My whole mom's family is like Irish, Democrat, just like you.
What happened
But
to Leah?
my dad's Catholic, and he's like, he lives in New York. He's kind of like indifferent. But he thinks it's like the best candidate, and my stepdad's Republican, so I'm pulled 3 ways.
Wow. When I voted for the first time in 1996, my mom is Ralph Nader hippie. My dad is like one step conservative of Hitler, and they had a bet on who I would vote for because I didn't tell them who I was going to vote for, so I had $50 on who I was going to vote for. And my mom won. And I voted for Clinton, and for his second term. And then when my sister turned first time to vote, they had $50 more, and my dad got Kate. My sister's name is Kate. Kate's conservative. Actually, that's not true. Kate is not socially conservative. She doesn't care anything about social stuff. If you want to be gay, be gay. If you don't want to be gay, don't. Whatever. She doesn't care about that. She just doesn't like poor people getting stuff from the government.
I like her.
Kate's really fun. Okay. So we got the Tellerman. We talked about that. And if you're listening at home, Kate, you're welcome. You are now broadcast to half a dozen people around the world.
all of you concentrated in
Right. All right. Now the Filipinos are going to be allies for us. They want our help. The Spanish don't want our help. Obviously, we're fighting the Spanish. But why would the Filipinos want our help? Yeah, they want our independence. And the leader of the